more into it. And from what they've always been saying about this season, how it's going to be a larger world, that means that there's more to cover. And so that means less time with any single person, Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's a good chance this season that it's going to be more episodes like this. Although I think, we'll get back to Alexandria and all that at some point.
Good.
So a few notes. There are these 3 lovely ladies called Allison, Jessica, and Carrie, who are part of a website called deadconnection.com. I should probably make sure that's the exact right. It might be thedeadconnection.com. And they have a partner, Stephen Sweet, who's this really nice guy, and he's really thin, and he kind of looks like he could be a great zombie, but he was, I don't know how this happened, but he was one of the saviors in this episode.
Cool.
They're always at, Walker Stalker, and they come to the meetups and stuff, but I think that was really cool. He was just like sweeping the hallway.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'd mention that.
Neat.
For a second, when Sherry was outside Daryl's door, I think the second time he came out, she was talking, I thought he was going bananas, and it was Lizzie. Which would be dumb because I didn't really. But she kind of looks like her a little bit.
Yeah.
More grown up.
That's a good point. Yeah, those actresses do resemble each other a little bit.
And then the last thing is when Dwight was walking along among all those Zeds that I guess were in the middle of an explosion. Was that the RPG site or what happened there?
No. Oh, no. That was because of the overpass. So what happened was a car crashed past the guardrail, flipped. You could see the flipped car on the ground and clearly died. And some zombies have been falling out ever since. And that's why the one fell down and damaged the front wheel.
So that's
why
they were all messed up because
Daryl's
they all
bike.
fell off there.
And then they hurt their spines and whatnot.
Okay. Well, that's one of the walker's arms just fell off like a tender chicken falling off the bone. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Right at the joint.
Yeah.
And
delicious.
It really made me hungry. But I was thinking that the zombies, I think that could be one way to end the series is they all just get old and fall apart.
And fall apart. Oh, that would be so great.
Yeah, they just start falling apart.
Okay, I have one note.
Yeah.
Did you notice the statue of the angel with the chopped off hands roped around it?
I did. Yeah. Well, I forget where that was though now.
That was in front of the sanctuary. What was the deal, man?
I don't know. It's a sanctuary, I guess. What was it? The arms were chopped off?
It was a angel. No, it was a statue of an angel. Mm-hmm. Like a weeping angel, actually, from Doctor Who, sort of.
Yeah.
And it had chopped off human hands roped in a like a daisy chain around it.
I think it's just a fucked up symbol.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's pretty dark.
That is dark.
All right, we'll take a little break. There's more to come. Stay. We'll talk our next advertiser, and that's Texture.
I love Texture. I'm so glad that they're one of our sponsors because Texture is an app that puts all of your favorite magazines into one really super convenient place. And the Texture app lets you tap into the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere using your smartphone or your tablet. And magazines that I love, and they have so many of them, including Outside Magazine, Runner's World, Sports Illustrated, all of my favorites with amazing writing. And you can breeze through hundreds of your favorite magazines, including back issues, and you can pick articles that interest you the most. And this is fabulous. If you're ever standing in line, and let's face it, for holidays coming up, you're going to be standing in a few lines. Pull out your phone or your tablet and you can read an interesting article. It's so great. And Texture has made it easy to find articles that you care about. The Texture editorial team recommends content for you every day. Plus, you can dive deeper in with personalized collections. So sign up for Texture right now and gain insider access to all the content from the world's best publications. And the best part? Texture is offering our listeners a free trial right now when you go to texture.com/deadcast. You'll gain immediate entry into all of the top magazines, including back issues, which is fantastic, and bonus video content. Start binge reading for free right now when you go to texture.com/deadcast. That's texture.com/deadcast. And I have to say, it's a great gift. And last Christmas, I think it was, I gave my mom and my brother, both of whom have tablets, I gave them subscriptions. And so I think they loved it. So texture.com/deadcast. Thanks, Texture.
I'm looking through, there's a section in the app where it just has collections of stories like you mentioned. And here's top stories in entertainment. And there's one with Jon Stewart, which is awesome. And there's one, where did it go? Hold on a second.
What magazine are you in?
Well, they're from all the different magazines. So
yeah. Oh, okay.
This one is Stephen Yun of The Walking Dead on Glenn post-death. So that's from Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, you love Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, I do. I like Entertainment Weekly a lot because it's all about the
industry.
The industry, not the gossip so much, but
right.
the movies, the entertainment,
yeah.
You know, what went into making it, the kind of things that I like to talk about on this podcast. So that's one reason why I'm happy that's in there. But my point of just mentioning that is you can just skim through these and see articles from a lot of different magazines that you might not normally read. Or when you do a search on a person or a topic or whatever, there'll be results from all those different magazines. So you can sample magazines that you might not normally read. Plus, you can go to the ones you do read, look at the back issues, like you said. It's just everything's right there at your fingertips. It's totally cool.
You can even share your subscription with the whole family, which is pretty great.
Yep, but I don't share. I don't share anything. All right, thank you, Texture.
Thanks, Texture.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Dead Cast news update.
All right, it's the news. It's first thing, congratulations to listener Vanessa Ng for winning 2 tickets to any Walker Stalker Con of her choice.
Woo, Vanessa!
Because she's one of our Patreon supporters, and she's in Singapore, but she told me she already had tickets for San Francisco, and she would love to go to Atlanta next year. So she gets those. And if you want to be eligible, you can go to patreon.com/Jason and Karen and pledge $5 or more per month, and then you'll be on the list. We'll pick winners every month.
Nice. Congratulations.
Speaking of winners, though, I forgot to announce this, but the winner of our Who Did Negan Kill contest, remember we had that with the First My Family guy?
Yep.
So Jeffrey Gollenberg correctly guessed that it would be Abraham and Glenn, and he won a Walking Dead survival kit and a Z-Pack from First My Family.
Nice.
So
congratulations.
If you guys, those are pretty cool. They're Walking Dead branded survival kits in case you're in an earthquake or a zombie apocalypse or something. And you go to firstmyfamily.com and you can check out that stuff. And congratulations to Jeff.
Yeah, they have one pack that the Walking Dead one's just awesome. I have it.
Yeah,
in
me
fact,
too, yeah.
in my garage.
I still need to get mine from my garage and stick it under my bed like
we're supposed to do.
Like we're supposed to. Next, Easy Street, the song used to torture Daryl, is by a band called the Collapsible Hearts Club. And the website independent.co.uk tracked down its writer, Jim Bianco, to find out how it came to be featured in The Walking Dead. He said, exactly how the song got into their hands is a mystery to me, but when they heard it, the show reached out and asked to use it. I didn't really understand why a show like The Walking Dead would want to use such an upbeat, over-the-top, in-your-face happy song, but now I understand. To torture someone, of course.
Yeah.
He says, I think the show used it brilliantly. Framing such an upbeat song as a torture device is a work of genius. We're happy to be a part of such a creative use of music in such an iconic show. But then again, what is he going to say?
Right.
Like, what if somebody took our podcast and played it as torture for somebody?
I'm sure that
that's
happens.
Brilliant. Yeah, they probably do. He went on to say that the song, inspired by Frank Sinatra, is about, quote, those rare moments in life when you're holding the winning card. Like Daryl. Next week's Walking Dead is going to be a supersized 85-minute long one.
Oh, good to know. 85 minutes.
Yeah.
Of Easy Street.
Pure bliss. Next, Norman Reedus with CNN, or I guess, was it on CNN or on CNN's website? I think it was on the website. He said that watching Austin Emilio's Dwight in possession of Daryl's belongings has, quote, really been pissing me off. It's just hard for me to look at.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah. The interviewer said at that moment, the line between character and actor seemed blurred.
Especially because he's taking really bad care of his motorcycle.
I know. He just looks like that stuff does not belong with him.
No.
Regarding Daryl's nude episode this nude scene in this episode, he said he went without the notorious modesty sock, often given to male actors for nude scenes. And he said, quote, it was kind of funny, though, because I dropped the robe and I'm butt naked, and the whole crew and camera department, it was like they were watching a tennis match. They all just looked to the left in unison. He said, I have to give it up to them because they're in there with me for a couple of days, and they weren't cracking jokes. They were very quiet, very respectful. I don't know that it would be as easy to go there emotionally with a bunch of strangers and people I didn't trust. Yeah, because it was very emotional.
Yep.
What gave Daryl the will to take the stand while the same bat that killed his friends was staring back at him? That's easy, said Reedus. Glenn. Quote, because if I disrespect what Glenn means to me and what Abraham means to me and what they fought for, then they have everything, meaning the saviors.
Yeah.
Daryl thinks you can beat me down and you can humiliate me and make me suffer, but I'm not giving you that. And last, he said, Andy and I were not used to being in this position. We're, referring to Andrew Lincoln, he said, we're not used to not being badasses and fighting and winning, but it's been explained to me that heroes need to fall really far down to be able to get really far back up again. Hopefully there's a light at the end of that tunnel. So I think it's interesting that he had to have it explained to him, because that's one of my criticisms. Like, I want to see actors who are okay showing weakness or things that aren't so badass on screen, but he did a great job.
Yeah,
Great
he
job
did.
at it, even though it had to be explained to him. All right, next, Michael Cudlitz about having to keep the secret of Abraham's death. He said, obviously I had to tell my wife because she would wonder what the hell I was doing at home.
Why aren't you in Georgia?
Yeah.
Why are you still here?
It's a light week. And then what he'll do next, he said he doesn't know yet. Both Steven and I weren't even able to pursue work until last Monday, so we'll have to see what's next.
They weren't even allowed to pursue work. In a way, that's kind of awesome, though, because, you're just going to, make boatloads of money, and you can't do anything except, have a good time.
Hopefully.
Sounds like
heaven. I mean, I heard Stephen Young, this is probably a false rumor, but that he was going to be Nightwing in Batman. So it'd be funny if he shows up as Nightwing and Michael Cudlitz is all, hey,
wait a second.
And the last is Chandler Riggs got accepted to Auburn University. Do you know where that is? I don't. Auburn, I guess.
That's I thought that was in Auburn is in Alabama.
Okay.
Right?
And then it was cute. John Bernthal tweeted out, attaboy, see, nice. Congrats on college. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Oh, that is nice. Now, hold on.
You got to know where it is.
University.
And then there was a picture of John with his shaved head, and little Chandler as a kid in that tweet. Because they used to be buddies.
Auburn University, Alabama. Woo!
Interesting.
Brain.
You called it.
Brain. Yeah, Auburn, of course. Brain. Thanks.
All right, that's it for the news. Now it's time for listener moans, groans, and grunts.
This first one comes from Jamie Demick, who writes, I think I would appreciate this episode more if I saw our group first. We totally needed last week's palate cleanser, but not seeing our gang for 2 weeks after episode 1, it's too much. Also, fuck that song. I also know that it'll be stuck in my head all day tomorrow, and Jason will put it as the opener to the podcast. Wow.
Yay!
Sorry, Jamie, we have not put you on Easy Street. The world is not too sweet.
She agrees with you. Mofavo says, have a feeling that as they are expanding the world, we're going to feel this way all season. We'll never be enough of the, quote, old gang.
We'll never be enough of the old gang. Yeah. That's probably true.
Maybe. I think there'll be some old gang type episodes in there somewhere.
Yay, old gang. Next one comes from Sean.
Except not Glenn.
Or Abraham. But sure, old gang.
Some of them.
Sean Naranjo Kolowaki. Wow.
Sounds
I'm just
good.
going to call him Sean NG.
Say Sean Naranjo Glowacki.
Sean Naranjo Glowacki. There.
Sounds
Woo!
good.
Brain. It was a slow. It was a slower episode, but it showed how Negan gets in people's heads and how well Norman Reedus can act with little dialogue. It was also reluctantly finding myself sympathizing with Dwight, but he's still a bag of dicks.
Kelly Geist says it's like JDM took a bath in the comics each night until Negan crawled out of the pages and right up under his skin. I could watch him all day.
Wow, that's a vivid description, Kelly. G. Marquez writes, I totally see a Dwight and Daryl teaming up at some point. There's no way Dwight is totally cool with Negan now. And I love that they gave us the Dwight backstory, which makes me think he will snap at some point against Negan. Also, Negan is sick. He is sick.
Yep. Paula Hopper says, surprised they said pussy on the show. I follow spoiler pages and still flinched hardcore when he swung Lucille towards Daryl. PP Pants City here. Now that's good writing. I think Daryl gives a better shit in my scrambled eggs look than Rick. I'm not sure what that means, but I think I get it. It's just having a bad day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I was surprised they said pussy also, but
I'm surprised you just said it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was like, really? Now? Really? But they've edited this, and this was filmed a long time ago. But yes, it was surprising. You purposely give me all the hard names.
I gave myself the one that said pussy so you wouldn't have to say it. And then you said it, and then now you're complaining.
I would rather say pussy so much more than Kristen McWegelberg.
She used to be Kristen Hallberg, by the way, but I think she changed her name when she found out you were.
That I can't pronounce anything. Can you please tell me how to pronounce that?
I would say McWegelbergino.
It's not funny. At the beginning of the episode, I mentioned to my husband that since Daryl has broken before the zombie apocalypse, that Negan wouldn't be able to break him. Killing Glenn and Abraham in front of him didn't do it. Threatening to kill him wouldn't do it. Beating him down won't do it either. I just don't think there's any breaking of Daryl, which could get very interesting.
Maybe they'll do another episode, and by that time it'll be 3 weeks more of Easy Street.
You know, it's interesting too. It's an interesting point that since he had such a shitty childhood, he'd be harder to break.
Yeah. That's a great point. That totally makes sense. He's been through it all. Rebecca Louise says, what an amazing episode. It broke my heart to see Daryl break down crying like that. Me too. Great to see some of Dwight's backstory too. And didn't you see the hate in his eyes when Negan talked about Sherry? Some interesting times to come with him, I think. Season 7 is incredible so far. I'm still feeling all the feels after seeing poor Daryl. I didn't cry at episode 701, but boy, did I cry tonight. Also, Easy Street is now my ringtone.
Oh my God. Jill Moreau writes, that episode was quite interesting. I have nothing against Daryl, but I'm definitely not one of the Daryl fangirls. I'm absolutely team Rick Andy, that British accent. Karen, I'm so with you regarding accents. However, seeing Daryl so abused and broken last night was heart-wrenching. Negan is a sick bastard. He is.
Ashley Renfro says, the other villains that came before Negan didn't bother me past the episode, but Negan is a sick freak, and I'm so tired of him already. He's causing my real-life mood to get all jacked up. The fact that he is, quote, married to Dwight's wife is so sad and weird and awful. That's an ongoing punishment that they are reminded of every day, with 2 crying, frowny faces.
And how must it be to go into the doctor's office, the quote unquote doctor's office, and then she says, she's there taking a pregnancy test.
I know.
Ugh.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Ugh.
I just hope if I was Dwight by now, I would just fucking go at Negan somehow.
Right?
poison his pancakes or something.
Let team up with Daryl, team up with Sherry, and figure out how to do. Yeah, poison the pancakes. Megan Dibley Lehman says someone should tell Negan that when you get wives or sex using your power, direct or implied threats, coercion, or giving, withholding, life-sustaining resources, you can't really claim that person is a willing party and that you're not, in essence, committing rape. Yeah, somebody needs to tell that to Negan. But I would get the feeling that Negan wouldn't care.
Well, here, let's see. Rebecca Louise says this. We're reading more comments from the same people, but I thought this was an interesting conversation. So she says this. I thought this when I read the comics too, and my boyfriend and I talked about it again after tonight's episode. I often hear comic book readers say that despite how awful Negan is, at least he's against rape. I don't know, because that's how he, well, at least what he says in the comics. I don't know if you've read the comics, but it's a point that comes up a couple of times, and Negan appears very anti-rape. But what a lot of people don't understand, that having sex under duress or any of the reasons you listed above is rape. Just because it isn't violent doesn't make it anything less, and I hope people still don't think of Negan as anti-rape. Yes, he's against violent rape, but he is still a rapist.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm glad you wrote that because it's important to include.
Yes, exactly. He's
a monster.
He's a monster. And none of his comments are funny to me. After he said all that, I was like, no, I'm not ever going to love him. I'm sorry. I don't hate to love him because there's no way I'm ever going to love him. I just won't. And then Megan responded with, do you think if somebody finally killed Negan, the other saviors would be like the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz, gratefully free of their oppressor?
I think if it's like true to life, that a lot of them will be horrified and sad until they deprogram,
Yeah.
That because people come to depend and see these despots as father figures. So it's really awful and strange, but that's what happens. And then a lot of them, would just be like, oh God, thank God that happened. Shenandoah Grand Poobah Gore says, I'm not surprised Daryl ate the dog food sandwich. He's eaten possum, squirrel, and an owl and worms.
Oh yeah, remember? And Carl was about to bust into the dog food before Rick knocked it out of his. No, your dog eats it. Dog loves it. David Mark Erickson says Negan is really starting to scare me now.
Grace Torres says, I hate loving Negan.
Wow, Grace, really? Jessica Rhodes says Negan is hilarious.
Brad Holt says, who's the boss? Negan. That's fucking who.
Nick Poblacki says Negan is fantastic. Loving him more and more.
Sherry Morford, hey Sherry, says, I'm pretty sure Negan just said I was super hot. I'm so conflicted. LOL.
Sherry, you are super hot.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're going to take another quick break for our third and final sponsor, and that's Fracture. I don't know if you guys were following it, but we had our best zombie makeup contest with Fracture, and we're announcing the winners right now. And there were 3 Editor's Choice winners chosen by Fracture. They were Joshua Kettle, Sarah Margaret West, and Cynthia Lopez. And then you guys voted on the other 3. That was Gunner Canada, Rob Marin, and Ginger Rose. And you go to bestzombiemakeup.com and you can see all the entries, and they're fantastic.
They really are. It's worth it. I checked them out. And
I never would have guessed that we would have gotten such great entries for that.
We got a little girl. Like a little girl.
Mm-hmm. And a little boy, too.
It was so great.
So that was awesome. So what is Fracture? Well, Fracture is your photos printed in really nice, vivid color directly on glass, ready to hang. Taking pictures is, everybody does it so much. Well, when I was a little kid, we had like 12 exposures on a roll, right? Or 24 maybe.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even see how they would come out until they got developed, and you had to be really careful. Like if I accidentally took a picture, my mom would get mad because I was wasting film. Now you can just click away, and that's great. It is great. It's totally great, but it makes the picture seem kind of disposable, and also the really good ones kind of get lost in the shuffle sometimes. Part of that is because it's a pain in the butt to do anything with them. Like, I don't even know how to get a picture framed. I guess you go to a framing shop, I don't know, or you buy a frame and somehow get it printed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure some people know how to do this. Then you have to nail all the stuff on the frame and stuff. I mean, it's just kind of a pain. It's doable, but using Fracture is ridiculously easy. You just go to the website, upload your photo, choose a size, and then it gets sent to you, and it's all ready to hang. And they even include a screw in the box. And the final product is really simple and beautiful. And instead of separating the picture, the frame, and the mount, it combines all three into this lasting final product. So I love everything about it. They hand check every image for quality. They make them in Florida, and every one comes with a happiness guarantee and a lifetime warranty. And more than any other product that we talk about, we've had listeners express happiness about their fractures, write in and say, oh, I gave this away as a gift, and they were so happy, or just kind of proud to show off what they had made. The holidays are coming. This is a winner of a gift to give to somebody. So you can get 10% off your first one by going to fractureme.com/podcast and choose Walking Dead Cast to let them know where you heard about them. It says to mark which podcast you first heard about Fracture on, and it has a list of all of them, but don't do that. Just mark Walking Dead Cast if you heard about it somewhere else. And that's fractureme.com/podcast. Thank you, Fracture.
Thanks, Fracture.
Okay, back to listener groans and grunts.
This next one comes from Annie from Leicester, England, who writes, "Hi, Jason and Karen. I just wanted to email you about something Karen mentioned about pigs eating walker flesh in the episode The Well. She's absolutely right. I am. Pigs have more acidic stomachs than
You said
humans.
their stomachs could handle it, I think.
I am so glad I said that. Pigs have more acidic stomachs than humans, which allows them to eat rotting food that would otherwise make us humans really sick. This is because our stomachs aren't that acidic, and we have to be really careful so that we don't get sick from what we eat. I thought this was a nice coincidence, given that I have just surged my master's with a focus in zoo archaeology, and my professor mentioned this a few weeks prior. Pigs are seen as little scavengers of the archaeological world. They can be fed low-quality food and then eaten themselves. Easy! Love the podcast, guys. Wow. Annie, thank you. The only way that could have been better is if you had called in and said all that.
And included pig noises. No, I'm just
included pig noises.
I love when we get informed and educated.
I do too. And God, I love pigs. I do.
So that doesn't surprise me. They're cute. So this first call came from a woman who wanted to be identified as IT from Chicago. It was really great, but it was about 5 minutes long, and we really need the calls to be about 2 minutes or less. Otherwise, it's going to take too long on the podcast. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for giving such a great call, and I will play your zombie sound. Here it is.
Okay. Bye.
So I hope you don't get offended by not playing, but I hope you call in again sometime and just make it like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll play it.
The best part was, okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, this next one is Spencer from Philadelphia.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Spencer calling from just outside Philadelphia. And I wanted to say this is the first episode this season that I've actually felt the desire to watch again. This is probably one of my favorite, definitely my favorite episode of the season. Just added a lot of dimension to Dwight. It's funny. I actually felt a little bit of sympathy for him up until the very end when you saw that he shot what's his name, Gordon, in the back, and it was back to fuck that dude once I saw that. So
Gordon,
really interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like
Gordon.
there's a lot of things that I'll pick up upon multiple rewatches. Really can't wait for Daryl to get his crossbow back and to kick some royal ass there. So really looking forward to that. Great episode. Again, it's the season after the first episode has really, the last 2 episodes have really brought it home, and I'm feeling really good about things right now. And zombie sound, how about this? brains. Thanks.
Nice.
That was good. It sounded like a
That was good.
half zombie, half Wookiee.
Zomwookie.
Zookie. Okay.
Zookie.
This is Steve from Oklahoma.
Jason and Karen, it's Steve from Oklahoma. Just wanted to say again, thanks for the podcast. It's great. Just finished watching The Cell, and man, I think I'm starting to agree with you. This is probably going to be one of the best seasons ever. And it may be another couple weeks before I can rewatch the first episode, but I kind of want to go back and rewatch the second episode after listening to you guys' podcast last week. And I'm sure I'll want to rewatch this one after I hear what you guys have to say. Loving Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. Can't wait to see what else for the rest of the season. Thanks. Oh, here's my zombie song.
That's Scooby-Doo zombie. I'm so happy people are still leaving zombie sounds, even though I really haven't mentioned it that much.
It's so great.
It's really great. So, he said something that I wanted to follow. Oh yeah, I always recommend going back and watching him a couple of times, because every time I do, I definitely get a lot more out of it.
Me too.
Okay, two more. This is Josh, the truck driver.
Hey, Karen and Jason, this is Josh. I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I called a few weeks ago and listened to you guys since the first podcast and trying to listen to them all the way through while I drive. So, as soon as I get up, I put the podcast on. And lately I've started watching the episodes and then at night while I'm not driving, obviously, and then listen to those same episodes of the podcast throughout the day while I'm driving. And right now I'm on episode 139, The Grove, where Lizzie kills Mika and Carol and Tyrese find her. And I couldn't help but think after Carol shot her, and you see that shot of Tyrese looking out the window, and he looks all sad and stuff, and I just kept thinking, how funny would it be if when Carol walks in and Tyrese went, "God damn, Carol, I thought you were going to talk to her, not shoot her. God damn." I don't know why. That just struck me so funny. That would have been awesome for that to be in the TV show. I just thought that was amusing and thought I would share that with you guys. That's it. I'll call you guys sometime other again. All right, take care. Don't get bit. Now, you know what? Fuck it. Get bit.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, man. Yeah, good that you don't watch it while you're driving your truck. That'd be
Yes.
bad. And this last one is from Anonymous. Didn't leave the name. They just played the whole song.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not going to play the whole thing. I think they started going like, "Woo, yeah," or something like that.
No way.
All right, that's enough of that. It's pretty clever.
Thanks, Anonymous.
Thanks, Anonymous. Okay, that's it for Listener Moans, Groans, and Grunts. Thank you guys for all your calls and emails and Facebook posts. And now it's time for Comic Talk with Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Comic Talk. It is I again, Mr. Blog, joined as always by Grace. Grace,
hello.
How you doing this week?
Doing fine, thank you.
Excellent. What'd you think of this episode?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say you and I are both on record quite often as saying we're really not that into Daryl. You know, we're comic fans. Daryl doesn't necessarily have any factors going into this, but this episode, I will say, although we didn't get, whatever, Daryl's not even a factor, but him being there allowed us to see certain things a little bit earlier than we did in the comics with regard to Negan and the Saviors. And the first thing I'd bring up would be just the Sanctuary as a place. And if a place can be a character, the Sanctuary has its own character. And I really do think the show nailed the look and the feel of it quite well.
Yeah. It has a big personality, and they captured it. It's big and weird and functions in its own way.
Well, it's got that very industrial sort of thing about it, yet outside, the zombies with all the spikes going through them and all the different configurations of a bit of a wall. They did that
perfectly, didn't they?
They really did. And before we started with this, I was flipping through the old book here and trying to see what compared, what didn't. I had to cover a lot of ground, again, because of the fact that it's timelines off and with the inclusion of Daryl. Before we get too much into the Sanctuary and the Negan stuff, one thing that I really enjoyed was the scene where Dwight had the falling body come down on him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was when Jesus was actually following Dwight back to the Sanctuary after Glenn's death.
Right.
That Jesus was the one who hurled the body, sort of by accident because he didn't want to be seen. It went to attack him and he just hurled it over the bridge and splat. I don't think that's the case with the show, but that was a nice little nod. But it gave you that same
imagery there.
Yeah, and it was the same thing with Dwight. This was after they had captured Dwight when after he had killed. No, this is before. Yeah, after he'd killed Abraham. No, before. After. Sorry. Well after.
Mm-hmm.
So, what other things were pretty much out of the comic that you got a sense of with this one?
Well, you get the whole Dwight, Sherry, Negan dynamic.
Changed a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it was Dwight's wife, and Negan, kind of took her in a way.
Sherry's motivations are very different.
Yes, motivations are different, and the reason his face was ironed is different.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have those differences. I was a little disappointed. I always love one of the things in the books that I thought was so cool was waiting for a while, trying to figure out what the hell was up with Dwight's face.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it all melty? We had all these wonderful little theories, and it really took until we saw that happen to somebody else through the eyes of Carl.
Yes.
That gave us oh, that's what happened. And then you flip back, and I was just doing this tonight, and there were certain things I saw ahead of time that were really neat because I could see Dwight in the episode having some of these same looks of doubt or looks of, really disliking Negan. And you get that sense, the way he's looking at him sometimes, especially when he talks about the women. And this is another thing that I think they're doing very differently between TV show Negan and comic book Negan. It does sound like he still may have a harem, but I think his motivations are actually somewhat worse than the TV show. I think they're definitely making, I don't know. It's a different situation, but.
What do you mean? Did you think he was trying to get them pregnant or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I was wondering if that's what they were getting at.
Well, I think with that, and also the fact that, Sherry in the comic went to Negan because he was promising her rewards. And the only reason why he melted Dwight's face was that she had cheated on Negan with her husband, Dwight. So confusing. But in the TV show, it was because he basically put a gun to Dwight's head, metaphorically, and she did it to save Dwight. So there's something a little, again, Sherry's motivations being different. And one, it's to save Dwight's life, and I think that gives us a sense of a lot more sympathy towards Sherry, for sure.
Sherry. Mm-hmm.
Because in the comic, it was just for her to get rewards. So
for them both, kind of. Yeah, to make their lives easier, somewhat.
Somewhat. So it's a different sort of motivation going on. I think they are going for a more
likable Sherry,
and maybe a more straightforward villain in Negan. One thing I really thought was in the comic, but I think I may be wrong, is where everybody's saying Negan, I'm Negan, like I'm Spartacus. I thought that this was in the book, but I can't find where it is, so maybe not. The kneeling, I'd say the kneeling was pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely not kneeling for Negan going on. So how are you feeling about the characterization of Negan?
Oh, I mean, I think they're doing a great job with Negan. With Dwight, and I think we get more of, I don't know, maybe just a little bit earlier, we get some more of his emotional kind of battle, whatever he's got going on.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll see more of later in the season. But, I think with Negan, they're doing a great job.
One thing that I'm just as a difference, and this is not a complaint in any way, shape, or form, and it's a different. Let's just say I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan is bringing a slightly different thing to Negan than I would have pictured from the book. And my impressions in the book have always been more of a big, loudmouth, boisterous asshole who's always trying to be funny all the time, but doesn't quite get it, yet can turn in a flash and be really menacing. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I feel, is like the way that he gets really quiet sometimes, that feels even more menacing. So I think he's actually scarier in so many ways. in a more traditional sort of way.
Yeah. And I think with the way Jeffrey Dean Morgan is playing it too, that you get a sense, an earlier sense that how smart Negan is.
Yeah.
Which I don't
Absolutely.
think you think maybe it's just pure muscle. Like a lot of people were like, oh, he was probably a coach, kind of meathead or,
Exactly.
when they were trying to, because he seemed kind of dumb, but until you really get to know him, where you don't get that in the show, right away, you can see the wheels churning behind his eyes. One other thing that I think you had mentioned earlier to me is there's a Carson here. Like there was,
right.
Like there was in the comic. In the comic, he was not a doctor, so it looks like we have two Dr. Carsons, one at the Hilltop and one here at the sanctuary.
I wonder if they're going to follow through with that and have those two be brothers like they are in the comics. So
I imagine probably so.
That's a neat little thing. And I'm losing it. I feel like there was something else that really was straight out. We get the iron, so we got mention of the iron, so we learn about that. We learn about the Neegs. Actually, this is what I was thinking. I think a big difference between Jeffrey Dean Morgan and our comic Negan is, of course, the language. And I think that has a lot to do with perhaps the way Jeffrey Dean Morgan has to approach the characterization, because he can't use the loud fucks left and right. So he has to bring something else that's kind of like menacing. So sorry, I'm just, again, reading through this has made me really start thinking about
Yeah. I wonder how much different the Blu-ray cuts will be, or however they call it, the Blu-ray version.
I wonder whether or not they're gonna do that or not.
They
for
are.
everything.
They are based
for everything?
on what Jeffrey Dean Morgan was saying at Walker Stalker Con. That's awesome. There's a fuck version.
I am all about that. So very cool. All right, so we got that'll be really good. So, all right. Well, is there anything else you can think of?
I don't think so.
All right. I think we covered more than enough of the comparisons between the comic and the TV show for this particular episode. Jason, Karen, thank you guys very much. Have a great week.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. Now it's time for next week on The Walking Dead.
Next week on The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 4. It's simply titled Service. That is all. Service. And the little description that doesn't really tell you a whole lot about it, except that we're going back to Alexandria. The remaining members of the group try to keep it together in Alexandria. They receive a sobering visit. Maybe they've all been partying and they're drunk. And they're like, shit, they're coming back. Sober
it's the
up.
Cops.
Well, he is a sheriff. I did happen to catch a video about and I'm sort of torn. If you don't want to be spoiled, it's not a spoilery scene really, but it's just a neat little moment. So if you don't want the neat little moment, skip ahead. But otherwise, I'm going to tell you about it because I loved it so much.
And before we get the moment, you probably already heard me say it, but it's going to be a long episode, 85 minutes,
right? And
this
is just a teeny little moment. And it's kind of neat. So you see Michonne go to her fireplace, and she looks back over her shoulder, and you're wondering who's she looking at, because it sort of looks like she's looking at us, and she fiddles around inside the flue of her fireplace like you're adjusting the flue, and she gets out a big old gun. And so she puts the gun on, and she's got her katana also. And then she walks out the door and leaves. And then you see that the whole time Rick has been there watching her. And Rick was the person that she was looking at. And so clearly she's going off to fight, and Rick is not. Rick is
He's
a broken
so good,
man, it would appear. Yeah, it was really great. I'm like, oh, I like how they did that little moment there. So didn't really tell us about the episode, but it might have revealed just a teeny little window into what's going on.
Gonna be hard to watch Rick have to get back up on his feet. Yeah, so it just sounds like he's still kind of broken.
Yeah, we saw him. Yeah. So we saw him in a bad place before.
Lowest point since the series started. Wouldn't you say?
It might have have been pretty low after Lori died, and he was here. He was, getting the phantom phone calls.
Oh yeah, I want him to get some more phone calls now.
He goes around Alexandria answering the phones.
I know. It's like just
hello.
Jabbering
Glenn?
on the phone. Like, we shouldn't see it with such a close-up perspective now. We should just like see him in the next room talking in the phone sometime during another scene.
Yeah, I think we should also hear him say blah 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 Abraham blah 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 Glenn.
Yeah,
he's talking to them. It's a party line.
So when are you coming home, Glenn?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd be sad.
Anyway.
All right, that's our show, episode 240. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Have you been watching Ash vs. Evil Dead this season?
I watched the first couple of episodes, but then I got then my viewership has been Did
you get tired of it?
No, I love it, but I still haven't gotten to the crazy episode that you told me to watch.
Yeah, because they're on number 6 now.
Is it great? Is it still great?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. It's starting to feel a little shticky, but I still love it. And they're doing a really good job of varying the tone each episode. So one will be more like a horror movie, and one will be totally slapstick goofy, and one's more action oriented. So yeah, it's good. But if you guys, I definitely recommend checking it out if you that are all curious. And I'm doing a podcast on that with Chris from Talking Dead, in case you didn't know, and also my friend Rich, who he and I used to watch the Evil Dead movies back in high school. So it's Evil Dead Cast. If you just search for that, you can find it on iTunes if you're interested.
And it's so fun to listen to you guys. I love it. I haven't listened to it for the ones that I haven't seen, but for the other ones I have.
We interviewed Lucy Lawless and one of the other characters, and we may get to interview the girl who plays Kelly pretty soon.
What about Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, I know. I haven't asked for fear of being rejected, but I'm going to have to get on that.
Yes.
All right. If you want to call us, you can reach us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can email us at brains@podcastica.com.
You can find us on the web at podcastica.com or facebook.com/deadcast. And don't forget to check out deadcastlive.com if you want to get tickets to our live show that's on Monday, December 12th. And also, thanks to everyone who supports us on Patreon. So cool of you guys. And if you want to check that out, there's some great rewards, including you can win Mocker Stalker tickets. You can get in our cool private Facebook group and talk to us about everything. And so to check that out, go to Patreon